Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Great to have you with us again.
Hello there.
Today we're tackling a word, a concept really, that's just everywhere. Business.
Absolutely. It shapes so much of our world.
And we're using some basic ideas from Analyze English Basic podcast as our sort of jumping off point.
Yeah, the idea is to really get under the skin of what business means at its core, using their simple explanations.
Exactly. Cutting through the jargon, just the essential nuggets. Think of it as a shortcut to really getting it.
It's surprising how much depth you find, even in the basics.
Okay, so let's start right there. The source kicks off with a definition. Business is
An activity where people buy and sell goods or services. Pretty clear.
Seems simple, yeah. But what's interesting is how broad that is.
Right. The examples they give, a shop selling clothes, someone with a food cart that really grounds it. It's everyday stuff.
Yeah, it's not just giant corporations.
And they do stress that it can be just one person, or it could be, thousands of employees.
Big or small, as they say.
The underlying principle, that exchange, is the same.
So what are some of the maybe different challenges at those opposite ends? A tiny stall versus a huge company.
Well, that's a good point. The small one might be faster to react, more agile maybe, but reaching lots of people or getting money, that's harder.
And the big one.
They've got the scale, the resources, but changing direction, responding to one person's complaint, that can be slow. It's a trade-off, always.
Okay, that makes sense. And to even talk about these exchanges, we need some keywords. The source introduces customer.
Right, someone who buys something.
Simple definition. They use the coffee shop example. You go in, you buy coffee, you're the customer.
And the key there is the choice, the voluntary part. You want coffee, they have it, you agree on a price. Money for coffee.
It's about satisfying that need or want.
Exactly. That's what drives it.
Okay, next term. Product.
Something you can sell, like a phone, a bag, a sandwich. Tangible things.
Things you can, touch and take away.
Pretty much. It's an item. Made or grown or assembled. You pay, you take physical possession. Think about that sandwich ingredients become a thing you sell.
And then the flip side, service.
Yeah, this is something you do for people.
Like cutting hair, fixing a car.
Or like the podcast itself, teaching English.
Right. Good point. So what's the core difference there, business-wise? Product versus service.
With a service, you're not buying an object. You're paying for someone's time or their skill, their expertise. The value is in the action, the outcome.
You don't walk out with a haircut in a bag.
Exactly. You walk out with a haircut. The result is the value.
But these days, that line feels blurry sometimes, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Think about your phone again.
Yeah.
You buy the product, sure.
Right.
But then you subscribe to apps, cloud storage. Those are services enhancing the product.
So businesses often mix and match.
Very often it creates, a more complete package for the customer. Like streaming music, is it a product, the songs, or a service, the delivery platform? It's kind of both.
That actually leads us perfectly into the next thing the source mentioned, online business.
Very relevant.
The definition they gave was a business that uses the internet to sell products or services.
And it's huge now. For many people starting out, it's not just an option, it's the main way, maybe the only way they consider.
It really feels like it's changed the game. The source talks about starting small, from home, using websites, social media.
Yeah, the barrier to entry is often much lower. That's a massive advantage.
How so?
Well, think about costs. You don't necessarily need a physical shop, rent, utilities for that space. Your overheads can be way down.
And your reach.
Potentially global right from the start. Compare that to a local shop. The examples they use: online shopping, booking hotels, ordering food. It shows how normal this is now.
It's just part of life.
No.
Okay, so we've got the basic idea, the customer, the product or service, and the online angle. What about actually, starting one? The source touches on first steps.
Right. Step one, according to them, is the business idea. What are you actually going to sell or do?
Sounds obvious, but crucial.
It all starts there. What problem can you solve? Or what skill or passion do you have that people might pay for?
Then, once you have the idea,
you need a plan. They mentioned thinking about money, how much you'll need, and where you'll sell.
Even a basic plan is better than no plan, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. It forces you to think things through, even simply. Who are you trying to reach? How? What will it cost? Doesn't need to be a novel.
Just some direction.
Exactly. And they also briefly mentioned licenses, which is important. Depending on your location and what you're doing, you might need official permission. Can't just start selling anything anywhere.
Good point. And the source also stresses understanding customer needs, offering something useful.
Yes. It's not just about your great idea. Does anyone actually want it? Will they pay for it?
Market demand.
That's the core of it.
Mhm.
Find a need, meet the need. And they add an encouraging note.
Right.
Many businesses start small and grow.
Takes the pressure off a bit. You don't need to launch Amazon overnight.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And they have that lovely example.
The cookie baking. Someone loves baking, starts selling to friends.
Yeah, that's it. It shows the process so clearly. You have a skill,
Mm.
baking, a product, cookies,
Yeah.
initial customers, friends.
And that could grow.
Definitely. If the cookies are good, maybe they start selling at a market, maybe set up a simple website. It shows how small beginnings, things you enjoy, can become, well, a business.
It really does. Okay, before we wrap up, the source helpfully lists those key terms again. Let's just quickly run through them.
Good idea. So first, business buying and selling things.
Got it. Customer, someone who buys.
Product, something you sell. Tangible.
Service, something you do. Intangible action.
Online business, business on the internet.
And lastly, business plan, a plan for your business. Even if it's basic.
Yeah, even though the source didn't go deep into what makes a good plan, just knowing the term and the need for one is foundational.
These really are the building blocks, aren't they?
They are. Understand these, and you can start to make sense of almost any business you encounter.
So that brings us to the end of this deep dive, really focusing on those fundamental business concepts, all sparked by Annalise English Basic Podcast.
We've covered the core meaning, the key players and terms, the shift online, and those very first steps.
And going back to that first definition, buying and selling goods or services, you can see how all these pieces fit together. The customer, the product service, the where, like online, the how with a plan.
It all connects back.
So here's something to think about, inspired by that cookie example. What simple things do you see around you every day? Little exchanges, skills people have, maybe even hobbies.
Could any of those potentially grow into something more?
Right. Are there needs in your own world, your community, that aren't quite being met? Just looking at everyday life through this business lens?
It can really change your perspective, and even this basic understanding opens up a lot.
Definitely something to mull over. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Thanks for listening.